wild boars have exceeded the allowable population density. With their numbers overwhelming the ecosystem, they've become a real threat to both the forest and the nearby human communities. They destroy vegetation, tear up the ground's surface, damage young tree roots, and cause soil erosion. Today's hunt is not merely for sport or a traditional festivity, it's part of an ecological management mission. On a cold winter morning in the forests of Hungary, Chris Dorsey and his hunting team were already in position, swiftly moving toward their designated ambush spots. Suddenly, the sharp rustle of leaves echoed nearby. A massive wild boar burst out of the underbrush at incredible speed. A series of precise shots rang out. In an instant, the boar collapsed, unable to take another step. Gunfire erupted from other positions. Every trigger, pull, carried an ecological responsibility, controlling the wild boar population to protect the forest ecosystem, which has been increasingly threatened by their overpopulation. Not far away, the sound of barking dogs echoed through the air, signaling the target's location. We followed the noise to the designated intercept point marked by Hogs. As expected, it was heading straight toward where I was waiting. I aimed carefully, tracking the wild boar's every stride. And with a clean shot, its escape came to an end. No more destruction, no more running. Rain began to fall, and we quickly took cover at our ambush positions, waiting for the prey to appear. This was the moment they would start moving back to their shelter. As expected, a group of wild boars emerged, sprinting in formation at full speed. Waiting until they came close, Liam swiftly pulled the trigger. Bursts of gunfire echoed through the trees. In the end, he brought down the lead boar, but the others quickly vanished into the depths of the forest. The rain had just stopped, and we immediately resumed tracking the remaining trail. Just 5 minutes later, the barking of the hounds echoed from within the bushes, a clear sign. I halted, eyes straining to observe. Suddenly, a wild boar charged straight out from the low leaves in front of me. Without a second thought, I raised my gun and pulled the trigger repeatedly. The boar took the hits, staggered, then collapsed down the slope from sheer inertia.
Merci. Oui, je t'entends.
I whistled, calling the dogs to search for the boar's body further below. It was a swift, decisive strike, leaving the beast no chance to escape. The sun still hung high above as our hunting group pressed deeper into the forest. A herd of wild boars cut across the path we had been lying in wait. A volley of gunfire erupted. Not every shot landed, but a few boars dropped, their escape cut short midway. The atmosphere shifted. You could feel it in the nods exchanged, the lighter steps, a quiet sense of triumph as we moved forward through the dense underbrush. As the sunlight faded, we rushed to track down the stragglers before nightfall closed in. Gunfire echoed through the forest. Suddenly, a dark figure burst out from the thicket right in front of me. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger, but it wasn't enough. The target slipped away. I quickly identified the direction it was heading and radioed K. "One's headed your way." Less than a minute later, K's shot rang out clean and sharp. One final trophy to mark the end of a long, hard-fought day. I never thought I'd see the day I'd have to pick up a gun and hunt wild boars. Until now, that had always been the job of professional hunters. As for me, I just wanted a peaceful life, plant some corn, raise a few goats. But then the boars came and tore through the fields right before harvest. Every night, we'd hear them digging, ramming fences, wrecking everything. I couldn't take it anymore. None of us could just stand by. Here in San Marcos, everyone now sees wild boars as public enemy number one. So we decided to organize a hunt to settle the score. After a night of tearing through the fields, the boars usually retreat into the forest to rest. So we head into the woods early, gun gripped tightly in one hand, the other pushing branches aside, and try to stay close to the sound of the barking dogs. Honestly, this whole thing is still pretty new to me, so every step is cautious. I can't afford to be careless. Suddenly, one of the dogs flushes a boar out of the bushes. No time to think, I raise the gun and pull the trigger. The The first shot was rushed. The boar turned and ran. With the hunting dog right on its heels, it quickly tired out. That was all I needed. I fired again and claimed my first trophy. A few hundred meters later, I ran into Ashley, my teammate, at a gentle slope. Ashley pointed to the right. I looked over and was shocked to see a massive wild boar lying nearby. Before I could react, the boar suddenly leapt up and charged straight at Ashley. I only had time to shout, "Watch out," before firing repeatedly. Everything happened in a split second, but luckily, the gunshots scared it off. Ashley and I watched the direction the boar fled, our hearts pounding like they'd burst out of our chests. That was way too close. That thing must have weighed at least 120 kilograms. A single charge could have seriously injured, even killed a grown man. Still shaken from that encounter, Ashley and I soon came across another boar, just as big. We had to be more careful this time. We split up and took positions on either side, guns aimed forward. The moment the boar dashed between us, the air exploded with sharp, rapid gunfire. It should have been the perfect moment to take down another destroyer, but it all happened too fast. The boar, running it up to 40 kilometers h, managed to dart down the slope and disappear. Even so, Ashley and I didn't give up. We kept sweeping the area. Soon, we heard barking from the northwest. No words were needed. We both knew what that meant. After being charged by one boar and missing another, Ashley was fired up with rage. He rushed forward and with a single, clean shot, brought down the beast hiding in the dense brush. By mid-afternoon, the hunting dogs were still going strong. I have to say, I was incredibly proud of these buddies. Not only were they great at sniffing out wild boars, they also wore them out chasing them down. My job now was to finish the job. Bang! Another pest fell. A smooth, satisfying win. I don't know if it was luck or not, but even though we only ran in a solitary burst, each one was huge, fat, and round. Just look at this one. It's got to be at least 100 kilograms. Looks like it had been chased so hard by the dogs, it had no strength left, not even enough to be wary of our guns. This one was easy. I aimed right behind its head and pulled the trigger without hesitation. It dropped on the spot. At another plot of land, Ashley and I continued to spot wild boars. This time, we silently split up and took our ambush positions. I gripped my gun tightly, eyes locked on the bushes ahead. I couldn't wait any longer. I fired a shot to lure the prey out. It took the bait, and there could only be one outcome, taking a bullet and collapsing beside bushes. You may have seen hunting videos before, but combining hunting with high-speed motorbike chases brings an entirely new level of adrenaline. This isn't just about speed or skill. It's our way of tackling the invasive menace that is the wild boar, which continues to wreak havoc on our farmlands and the lives of local people. Let the high-octane pursuit begin. After hours of tracking our target using the sharp ears of our hunting dogs, I finally pinpointed it, a massive wild boar hiding deep within a dense cornfield. My instincts told me it would bolt across a nearby dirt road, so I jumped on the motorbike and sped toward the spot. Right on cue, the beast burst out. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The bullet sliced through the air, piercing its thick hide. The boar stumbled, staggered, then collapsed into the earth. Another hunt ended. Meanwhile, Garrick's bike was tearing across the open field in search of another target. There it was, from a distance. He spotted a lone boar desperately fleeing for its life. He hit the brakes, aimed, and fired off several rounds. But the first volley missed. It was just too far. Undeterred, Garrick circled around, cutting off its escape path. This time, with the barrel aimed squarely at its chest, the wild boar had no aim. I, too, was on the move, heading toward Garrick's position through the maze of cornfields. Suddenly, I saw it, a breathtaking chase between a boar and a pack of hunting dogs unfolding right before my eyes. I fired a few shots from a distance, but the boar kept charging. I accelerated, intercepting it just in time. The beast didn't hesitate. It lunged straight at me. Luckily, I managed to get off with a final, decisive shot before it could strike. The threat was neutralized in a blink of time. With multiple takedowns under our belts, both Garrick and I were fired up. Fueled by adrenaline, we raced across the endless fields, chasing any sign of movement. About 10 minutes later, luck returned. Another wild boar suddenly appeared. No time to waste, I raised my gun and fired in a split second. The quick draw worked, and the beast crumpled instantly to the ground. Using motorbikes gave us unmatched mobility, allowing us to adapt quickly and cover a wide variety of terrain. The moment we got word of another boar fleeing, we raced ahead to intercept it on a dirt path cutting through the fields. There it was. As it charged out from the brush, I squeezed off a flurry of shots. Caught off guard, the boar had no chance to react and dropped on the spot. On our way back to regroup with the rest of the team, we suddenly caught sight of a few wild boars attempting to escape. We barely had time to inspect the results when more boars charged our way. I like it! Acting on instinct, I surged forward and pulled the trigger. A perfect hit. The boar collapsed before it could react. We went on foot to chase down another boar that had just escaped. Relying on experience, I quickly spotted its location, leveled my gun, and fired several precise shots. The gunfire echoed through the trees, blending with the baying of the hounds, signaling a satisfying conclusion. And there it was. Only a lifeless black shape remained, lying still among the dry leaves. The night before the hunt, we sat beside a small fire inside a rickety wooden shack on the edge of the forest. News about wild boars tearing through the villagers' crops had been growing more frequent. Those animals were becoming bolder, more cunning. That was why we made the decision to leave the safety behind, bringing our rifles, supplies, and a sharpened sense of caution, stepping into a hunt that promised danger at every turn. Like always, we started by carefully surveying the terrain. This time, the forest's edge, the fragile boundary between open land and dense woods, was the spot we chose for the ambush. I stood just outside, eyes locked onto the dense wall of trees ahead. Early morning is still prime feeding time for boars, so it didn't take long before a large, dark-colored male appeared. It had no idea it was being watched. Step by step, it moved closer, completely unaware like it owned the place. Then again, I had been sitting dead still for nearly 30 minutes, like part of the landscape. I gripped my rifle tight and aimed just behind its front shoulder. One deep breath, finger on the trigger. The boar dropped almost instantly. That shot was a kill shot, maybe heart, maybe lungs, I couldn't say for sure. But I knew it didn't feel pain for long. Moving closer, I crouched behind a bush near the forest edge. Good cover, good view, but the downside was shifting winds and sharper ears for the boars. Even with a group right in front of me, I didn't dare make a sudden move. Finger resting gently on the trigger. Boom! One down, the rest scattered. That's fine. I'll be seeing them again deep in the woods. We pushed deeper into the forest. Not even 5 minutes in, boom, a whole herd of wild boars suddenly appeared. They were too fast. The angle was bad. After a few missed shots, we gave up the chase. Deeper still, the vibe was now a mix of excitement and tension. As I waited behind a tree, another boar showed up about 30 feet away. No time to think. I raised the gun and fired. Quick and clean. Another one down. Still moving. Still searching. Then I heard the hunting dogs barking like crazy not far off. I followed the noise and came to a narrow game trail, thick bushes on both sides. The boar could charge out from anywhere, any direction. I stayed sharp. But wait, not that way. Something, maybe sound, maybe instinct, made me spin around fast. Rifle up. Seconds later, it showed up. One clean shot, right on cue. The boar dropped in the middle of the trail. Motionless. Was it skill? Instinct? I don't know. Maybe both. But I do know that one tiny rustle saved the moment. and believe it or not, I ran into another group of wild boars. The adrenaline had barely left my system from earlier, and now it hit me all over again. I only had a few seconds to fire before they shifted direction and vanished. I managed to hit at least one. Not the best outcome, but far from the worst. I was standing near the roadside, eyes locked on the trail ahead where the boars were darting across. A few shots rang out. Wild boars, monstrous beasts weighing up to 300 pounds with razor-sharp tusks. They tear through pastures, attack people and livestock, and cause millions of dollars in damage each year. Traps and fences are useless against these relentless invaders. There's only one way to stop them: hunt them down right to their lairs in the treacherous swamps. And only the toughest hunters dare to face them head-on. So who will survive this brutal battle? Follow the heart-pounding pursuit right now. This hunt is more dangerous than ever. We're venturing deep into the territory of these beasts where they hide skillfully in the dense forest. To avoid ambush, we've brought along a pack of well-trained hunting dogs. They track swiftly and alert us the moment prey is near. In this mission, our dogs are not just trackers, they're our eyes, our ears, and our first line of defense. Today, I'm heading into a particularly treacherous area with Bernie, where towering grass provides perfect cover for wild boars. The team split up and moved into our assigned positions. After just 10 minutes of searching, the hunting dogs began barking furiously inside the thicket. We locked our eyes on the direction of the noise, tracking every movement. Suddenly, a massive wild boar burst out of the grass, charging straight toward Bernie. Wasting no time, we took our shot. The shots rang out in rapid succession, and the boar collapsed into the tall grass. After that breathless skirmish, we quickly moved on to track the next targets. In the distance, the figures of wild boars emerged, slowly roaming through thick patches of grass in search of food. We didn't fire right away. Instead, we hid carefully in the bushes, waiting for them to come closer. Then, gunshots rang out across the swamp. Each one was swift and accurate, taking down the ferocious beast. This place is a true haven for wild boars, with an abundance of food all around. Just 15 minutes in, Silas had already spotted his target. It burst out from the towering reeds, but quickly collapsed, unable to escape after Silas's precise shot. We picked a good vantage point and used binoculars to scout the area there. They were a herd of wild boars foraging on the forest floor, completely unaware of what they approached. Perfect shot. A thunderous bang echoed, and one boar dropped instantly. The rest scattered in panic, fleeing into the brush. Deep within the stillness of the palm thickets, Bernie was quietly tracking a separate target. The boar emerged from behind a palm. Trunk Bernie raised his rifle, took careful aim, and pulled the trigger. Perfect. A precise shot, the boar collapsed on the spot, without a chance to react. One shot was all it took to bring it down. The swamp terrain here is truly treacherous, riddled with dangers we usually try to avoid.